I think all of us are live. The timer is done, so I'm assuming we are live on YouTube. So anybody who's watching the stream, please say something in the comments to know that we are live and nothing has glitched on our end, and then we can actually get started right away. What happened? I think we are live, right? Guys, can you just cross check it once?
Yeah, let me try and check it.
Yes, okay. So we've got confirmation. We are live. So we are good to go straight away with the intro. As usual, this is what episode 31 of the pod, but not pod anymore. It's the stream because we are very closer to the much closer to the deadline for game week 34. So no point of recording pod and doing all those things. So straight away, I mean, we'll jump to what is exactly our talking point at this moment. That is 1 second. Uh, Looks like my slide has not got updated. There we go. Why has stream messed up for me? Just
There
give me
has
one
to be
second.
something for the first stream. So yeah, we're on the right track.
Yeah, we are not like we won't mess up. It just didn't get updated. So I actually updated the file. So I think we should be good to go now. 1 second for the content to load.
I mean, if that is game week 33, what we are going to talk about, then are probably
We
better
can
off.
we can start away straight with game week
Yeah.
33. I mean the content is taking time. That much amount of points we got nothing. So I'm adding it to the stream. So these were the results so far because Burnley, Southampton, everybody wants a Vegas hat trick desperately. So to save their game week, those who did not have Salah, those who transferred Salah out for Bruno, all of us are in a very sad position.
Yeah, it's horrible, honestly, but we move, kind of.
I have 4 players to go tonight, but I don't have any expectation. Maybe 6 points together. I don't know.
I mean, for Mo Salah, to be honest, who was struggling, I mean, who scored a brace last time was in what, game week 26 odd or something, where he scored a bumper of points and then not even performing up to the mark of what he's renowned over the last few seasons or even this season. So most of us took the gamble and we shot ourselves this game week well and truly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
19 points. If you don't have that, then I mean, it's all gone, right? Like my rank, like I'm 200% red arrow. I'm dropped from 7K to 16K. So unless like Burnley keep a clean sheet and Vegas scores, I'm not going to get back in top 10K in this week. So pretty dull game week
yeah.
for me. So Srini, did you also
It,
sell Bruno?
yeah, no, I held on to Salah, so it was a small green arrow for me from 16K to 14K. So it is like it's one of those weeks where there are huge swings, but I am able to get a gray arrow or a small green arrow. So I'm happy with that. Like it is one of those weeks where it's a huge swing. Like you can see this 200% swings, 50% swings, very common. Like because of the switches in premium plays, which was very unexpected. Like if you own Kane and Son, you'd have got 4 points, but if you had won CR and Salah, it would be 36 points. That's like 31 points difference between the
Yeah,
four premium plays, the combination of premium plays. Yeah,
that's
so
Yeah.
we move.
and
Yeah,
Salah, like all the time, like game week 9, same fixture, United versus Liverpool. These again, same fixtures, and I think that time also, I think I know Aditya and Chris, we also went all with Havertz that time. So like
Yeah.
those two game weeks has combined cost me 500% red arrows, like 300% in one and 200% in other. So really, like maybe it's like sometimes I feel I got punished for supporting Man United and maybe backing their players like more than what I'm supposed to do. But nah, it does have FPL.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to know how many managers transferred in Fernandez were actually Man United fans because I'm pretty sure that must have come into, at least I feel like being a United fan, what we did is we over expected a lot and we got him in and we just completely got battered knowing that things will not go our way. And especially game week, what was it, 9? When Salah scored a hat trick at Old Trafford. When
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was one time where we knew, hey, he's not, what he's going to do? Come on, this is a big game. We're going to defend. No. And then again, same thing
Havertz
happened.
versus Norwich that week was.
And especially the kind of form Salah showed, right? I mean, I know like stats wise, he was all up there, similar to start of the season, but you could actually see he's not at his best. Like, and these are the kind of punts that you have to take in FPL. If you have to cover the ground. Obviously, now looking back, I would think, okay, I was in top 10K. I should have probably, played safe and stuck with Salah. But if like Bruno had hauled, and it's more Norwich game than Liverpool. Nobody expected us to get anything out of Liverpool game. But I think more like Norwich game, Ronaldo, made sure that none of the other players get on the points, and he was the only one to score all the goals. I mean, I'm glad that actually he won the game for us. But yeah, Bruno, and I have double Bruno and Sancho. I couldn't believe like, okay, 3 goals and no involvement for either. It was pretty hard to take. Could have easily been the other way around, because I think quite a few people sold Kane and held on Salah. I think it could have easily gone the other way, because Kane was also showing great form and Brighton were not only apart from the last game. So it could have easily been like, Kane scoring a hat trick and Salah blanking, and we would all be, happy. But yeah, that's the thing. When you get it wrong, you feel like you've done something bad. But yeah.
That's what I think at the moment with the premium assets. What I think the strategy for me is hold on to the premium assets, whoever I have.
Yeah.
Like if it's between Kane, Salah, KDB, and Salah, like among those four, hold on to whichever you have. That's what the strategy is. What good I think, because this week you can see Kane and Salah fighting. Next week you can see Son and uh, someone firing. Like they'll be, but they'll eventually fire. They're premium players for a reason. They'll eventually fire. Like patience is the key. Is what I think at the moment. Except the United premiums at the moment, because they have a tough run
Yeah,
of pictures. So,
get rid of them.
Premium word doesn't apply to United
Yeah.
players. Nobody's premium.
So enough of Man United. I want to purposely go to Chelsea versus Arsenal game. Chris, what went wrong?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had time, so I watched the game. And it was really annoying to see how much the depth has let us down, because Christensen was again horrible. I cannot see him starting unless we need to start him, and I think Rudiger is out for the West Ham game too, which is not good news. I just saw so much vulnerability at the back, which is not the case usually, and I felt like with every shot we were gonna concede, which is a feeling that I hadn't experienced in a long time. So I think
Rudiger.
last night just convinced me that double Chelsea defense is a no go. With James possibly playing as a centre back too, that worries me, because realistically, right now with Rudiger out and Thiago Silva, I mean he's old. He can't play week in week out. I worry that he's our best centre back. So there's an argument as to whether is it worth keeping Rhys James. And if I were on a wild card, I think I would rather go Marcus Alonso, who did get into really nice positions last night, and I think he's pretty much nailed, because he's been pretty good this couple games. I think he's been solid, and 5.5. Even if he gets a benching, I think he's the best value right now from our assets. But yeah, it's a minefield, really. I would rather have an attacker and a defender than a triple up, to be honest.
So I think game week 33, it's more or less we are done talking, right? It's a game week where we want to just forget and move on. Even I think there will be managers who will like to just fast forward and go to game week 38 and finish it off, right? Because things are not going in the right way
Yeah.
for some of us. Things are going excellently well for some managers. So just it's a funny thing, right? The last leg of the season, teaches you a lot of new things sometimes.
And
And Yes,
for
Shiva.
whatever it's worth, each of next game weeks is going to bring a lot of variance similar to this week. So we all really need to be mentally relaxed, and at the end of the day, it's all a game. Because I was really disappointed, like that huge of a red arrow, like out of top 10K after so many weeks, and just one player, if you don't own him, what can happen? And if you see the number of chips that are going to be played in next few game weeks, I think we all need to stick to our plan, and not really compare our teams with other teams, the chips they have played. It's really you have to have your own plan and play your own game. And I think these next few game weeks are the ones that are going to test us a lot, I feel.
So let's move
Yeah.
on to the next segment quickly. That was actually Game Week 34 preview, but no, we'll actually cover up the battle of the premiums because that's what we initially very much started speaking about: Son, Kane, Ronaldo, Fernandez, Salah, De Bruyne. Because the fixture turn is definitely, I think, I started for Man City, right? So there will be managers definitely who will not have any of the City assets because we most of us transferred out Joao Cancelo, one of the defensive guys, and now we've got in Fernandez without Salah. So there are a lot of other options, right, to target KDB instead of going Salah, and just hoping that you somewhat recover the points that you lost over the last few weeks.
Or lose more points in the process. Yeah.
It's funny that there are two United players in this six premium. So I really think
It's
like
just the price tag, sort of guys who are being,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
much
that's the question,
spoken.
right? Like Shiva, do you hold on to like United are in bad form, but do you hold on to Ronaldo and Bruno since they have a double game week once again? Do you hold on or move on? Like, what do you do there?
I mean, if you already have them and you don't have any chips, I think there is a case for holding on to it. Because myself, I have Bruno and Sancho double. Now, I'm definitely going to hold Bruno. Even if the double looks tough, you have to actually back the player, like the quality of player Bruno Fernandes is. And United, I know they're in a bad form, but again, there is a mad hope that the official announcement of new manager, maybe there will be something up for it.
No.
No.
Uh,
Announcement
but
bonus.
Optimistic
so
as hell.
definitely not buy, and I would hold Bruno Fernandes. But myself, I'm thinking of moving on to Sancho, because especially because he was benched against Liverpool. Now he might not be benched in the next few games, but for those two premium, uh, I would hold unless they stop you from bringing the Chelsea assets. Because one aspect of selling them is, if you are going to sell them for any Chelsea assets, then you are going to get two shots at Chelsea assets in the two double game weeks to come. So they have 30 game week 34 as double game week, then a great fixture in 35 for against Everton, and then the double game week in 36. So if even for a hit, if you are selling them and getting any Chelsea premium, if you can say that, like
It's
Havertz or Mount, even if their price is not as high, but they definitely can be considered as premiums, then I would say they will definitely outscore the likes of Ronaldo and Fernandez over the next 3 weeks. So that definitely is an option. But apart from Chelsea, if you're, let's say, if there you are planning to buy someone, say De Bruyne, I'm not 100% sure that it will be worth it. I mean, it can be, but again, like if De Bruyne doesn't have any double game week, if double game week is confirmed for 36, then maybe yes. But otherwise, I mean, there might be a point in sticking to it, because at this point of season, we really need to be careful about what transfer we are using. So as long as you are using your transfer to have some players which you are okay to have him till the end of the season, I think that transfer is something that you can go ahead with. But definitely not someone, like you're only going to buy for next couple of weeks. So I mean, in that way, I think it makes really more sense to sell these two for any of the City or Chelsea assets.
Or just go
Uh,
back to Salah because it's Everton at home, and I mean, imagine he scores a brace again, and you want Fernandez, and United lose both the games in the double game week, and he scores you 4 points.
And you're depressed again.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really tough, because when I bought Bruno and Sancho in 34, 33 double, what I really planned is, if United do get a double in 34 as well, I will hold on to Bruno for 34. I will let Salah go, But now he looks back in form, and I think with 5 days of gap, I don't think he gets rest in Everton. And even if he plays like 70 minutes against Everton, again, like I might even not be hold on to top 20K in that sense. So that is one of the reason. I mean, maybe we are switching the point, but that is one of the reason that I am thinking of free hit this week. And 35 is something where maybe because of Champions League, Salah might get reduced minutes or their fixture is not as easy as Everton home. So that way, if I use a free hit in 34, I can get good Chelsea assets, maybe couple from United if I want, and then City has a really great fixture. So that's one of the things that's making me. But again, that would be going against my original plan of holding on to Bruno for double doubles. But looking United defend in that game, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, United have Brentford in 35. So the plan of rating in 34 to get rid of, to make up for this week, is a decent plan for you, I guess.
Yeah, but Brentford, I mean, they are in good form themselves. I mean, again, like Son and Kane are at the top of this list, but again, one of the reason for thinking of free hit is I don't think Spurs score a lot in this game to come. I mean, Brentford have been really in good form, especially at home, and I see that
Exactly.
game as pretty low scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs don't get all 3 points in that game, and even one or
It's an
both.
away game also for Spurs,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
a tough ground to play.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I'm on free hit this week. I'm going no Spurs on free hit this week. Simply, I was going through the numbers. Brentford are like sixth best for big chances conceded since game week 26. They have been on one of the top five, six defensive sides in the league since game week 26. So I'm going without Kane on Kulu this week on free hit, which is I think is a good gamble to take.
Yeah, and I think in 35 again, as we said, like fixtures are such lined up in such a way. 35 they're playing Leicester at home,
Best year.
who are going. That fixture is going to be sandwiched between their Europa Conference League game. So I think that game
No,
might be
that's the
good.
wrong name, Shiva.
It's not a
Mickey
Conference
Mouse.
League.
Your name, Mickey Mouse Cup.
Oh, I thought it's supposed to be a Premier
No,
League.
no,
I
no,
think
no.
last time I messed it up.
Except if United win it, so it's a good one, maybe.
No, we are
It's a
not
good
winning
game.
it. No, that's why it's fine.
So I mean, yeah. So coming back to that point, that's why that free hit tempts me a lot because the fixture, the way they have lined up, even like my team has. I mean, please don't laugh, but my team has Coutinho and Luca Dean. Yes, you heard that right. I have those two players in my team, and
Okay.
35 they play Norwich at home, and they don't have good fixture this week. As good fixtures, it's okay. So I'm thinking if I free hit, I don't have to sell them
Yeah,
this
they
week.
double in 36, 37 again. So
Exactly. Yeah. So again, I don't have to hold my
yeah,
free hit for 36,
yeah,
37. Obviously, I would get probably better players on the free hit if I hold it for 36 and 37. But for my team, if I really look at it, having the likes of Kane and maybe double Aston Villa, there is a definitely a point in having a free hit. It's just that it's all on Chelsea because I don't have any expectation on United double. So it's like all depends on Chelsea, who looked really awful yesterday. And I know like it was nowhere near their best 11, but I just read that Rudiger is out for the game on
Yeah.
Sunday as well. So not really sure how they would defend without him. So whether to go if you go on double defense on a free hit and if they
Yeah.
concede
I
both games,
wouldn't.
you
I
are really
wouldn't advise for that. I think
Hmm.
that's a really bad move right now.
So since we started talking about Chelsea, let's move on to the next segment that was actually going to be which Chelsea players should we actually go and target? Okay, let's wait what happened to Srini's
I can't
free
imagine
hit.
the two names that we are seeing at the top of this table. I mean, could you imagine couple of game weeks back, those two names wouldn't have even entered our thoughts for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think it's mad how this because there's a big squad. It the way we view players changes a lot and fast because one is injured, then one plays well, then again, it's a lot of things happening, and you have to be able to adapt. But yeah, I think Werner, he's been brilliant in the past couple games. against Madrid, Southampton, and yesterday he was our best player in my opinion. He was winning balls. He was really lively. He took on players, and I think he's going to improve his game a lot. And he's gonna finish the season strong, in my opinion.
But do you think Werner starts next too? Because I think he played 3 games in last 10 days or so, and the next 2 games are within next 7 days. Do you think he plays both, starts both?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's still very young and he hasn't played so much this season. So I don't think anyone in Chelsea attack is being has been overplayed this season. So I think despite except Mount maybe who has played most games, but I don't think anyone needs rest. So I don't think we'll rest players in that area of the pitch. I think whoever's uh, rolling and whoever's in form is gonna start to build some momentum and create some more chemistry in the squad because I think Chelsea is still missing that chemistry that teams like Liverpool and City have up front. So I think we need to build on that and create a front three that's a bit more standard. It's gonna be a front three and then the subs and the alternatives.
Yeah, I think that's what make Havertz really good option this week because he got his rest and the way Lukaku played last night, I don't think Tuchel is going to start Lukaku anytime ahead of Havertz again this season. So I mean, in my even in this list, Havertz is like fifth in the list. I think if I am going to free it or even buy a player, I think he would be on top of my list, especially because we can think about captaining him. So him and Mount definitely, yeah. But Rudiger third on the goal attempts. Wow. I mean, he's not going to play the whole game week, but
Because he generally takes a lot of shots from outside the box, especially from the half yard,
Okay,
half
out.
line.
Yeah.
So those shots just go wide. So that's why
I mean, he did score once, so
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no Rudiger is for a game is such. It's like which was
Affecting
the
whole
game week that
defense as a
Chelsea
whole.
had double
I
like
think Rigger was a really good value when the season started, but now at 6.2, it's really questionable. And I
I
think
mean,
he's
those who
one
are
of the
not free
players.
hitting now with
Yeah,
Rudiger only playing one game in a double game week is a bit of meh, right?
I'm
What are you
thinking
gonna
of
do?
selling actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, one game you can get. So you are playing him only for United fixture. So I think maybe yeah, you can get 6 pointer in that. But if you're buying, definitely yeah. I mean, Rudiger is probably you should not look for.
Yeah,
But I would definitely say
On
this thing: the top two, what we are seeing here, Werner and Alonso, they are really two good shouts looking at their form and their nailedness in last couple of weeks. But if one of those two are benched in next one of the next 2 games, none of us would really be surprised. So I mean, we all should be aware of that fact. Like Werner and Alonso are not as nailed as Mount is or say Rudiger
Havertz.
would have been if had he been fit. So those are not as nailed. They are definitely form players. Looks like Alonso has again come up in Tuchel's plan, or maybe he's on a good note now because I think around end of last year or start of this year, it appeared that Tuchel definitely doesn't want to play him. I mean, he was ready to play even I think he played like Sar on the left wing back in one game,
I
but
think beginning
They
of the
played a back
season
four, I think,
he played.
that time.
Was playing at the beginning. I think he liked him. There was some really. I think he played like the first 5 league games, and then Chilwell was fit again. That sort of thing happened, and then Sar came in, but Sar's been absolutely horrible. So I don't expect him to start instead of Alonso at left back anymore. I don't see that happening right now.
yeah.
and also just one at one point, I don't
Yeah.
think we are seeing a
For
lot
me
of craze about.
personally,
Yes, Rini, go ahead.
So for me, what I wanted to add with respect to Alonso is the top pick for me at the moment from Chelsea. Like Tuchel doesn't seem to go back to a back four, not anytime soon. I guess he'll stick with the back five is what I'm guessing till for the next few games at least. So Alonso is likely to start two or surely start one and the other one. Like that's the case most players, right? So also I was watching the game yesterday, and from the eye test, even though Chelsea had a bad game, Alonso was the most attacking player in the box. Like he had some 5 6 shots in the game. He had I was looking up on some numbers here. Yeah, so he had 5 shots, which is the combined total of what Mount, Havertz, Lukaku, and Werner got yesterday. They combined together for 5 shots, and Alonso himself had 5 shots. So it all adds up to it. I is the first player
Yeah,
locked for me on free.
that's all what happens with Alonso. Whenever you see Chelsea attack, Alonso is right there in the box at the number 9 position. Sometimes you think maybe you as a Chelsea fan, Chris, you must be thinking, what is he doing here? And the number 9 in the box, he has to like defend on the left. Like when you watch
Yeah.
Chelsea play, and when Alonso is there, definitely he passes the eye test. So the point what I was making, if Reece James would have not played in the right center back, I don't think anybody would have been thinking about Alonso. It's just that the right wing back position is not confirmed now. I mean, maybe SP might play there one game, and maybe one game Reece James will play there. So I think that has got the Alonso stock up. But I might go ahead and buy Reece James ahead of Alonso for this week. Even if like Alonso is maybe more nailed on playing the wing back position, uh, I mean, Reece James, I don't think people should neglect Reece James the way we are seeing right now just because he has played a couple of games in the right center back. So, Chris, do you think we can expect at least one of the next 2 games where Reece James will go back to right wing back?
I don't think he'll stay there. I just think it really depends on the fitness of the Irish centre backs. And I mean, if you saw the game last night, you could see that our back line was in shambles. I don't know how Tuchel's supposed to trust Christensen anymore after the Madrid game and yesterday. I think he's just
Yes.
on his way out
He's off to
already.
Barca.
So yeah, I think he knows it. We know it. I don't know. He seems to not care enough, and I can't be bothered to be honest. But I think he's one of the players that won't feature much unless we have to. But I think right now with the situation, it's a bit hard to predict what's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't think Rich James is a no go. By the way, at 6.2 million, 3 whatever, it's not that bad. He still has attacking threat. He still takes set pieces. So I wouldn't be against buying him. Actually, I own him, but I think I would definitely hold him over Rudiger for the run in.
Do you think to get the defensive solidity back, maybe SP might move in one of the back 3 positions? Because I see Thiago Silva coming back to the starting 11. Maybe Sar might hold on to his position, and maybe SP might get in one of those three.
Yeah, I mean, Sar wasn't. I mean, I overphrased it before because he was the reason about the third goal. It was a bit his fault, but not entirely. Not something hideous, but I think Sar could stay there, and I think Aspilicueta offers more something more as a leader in that back line, and I think with Thiago Silva they can. It's a more safe combination because they both they're really disciplined, really serious in the game. The composure is there, so I think it would make sense for him to play there if we have these issues, and for Reece James to play a bit more advanced. And I think last night we should have played that way because it was Arsenal, and I think we needed that attacking James, his presence down the left flank. I think we still needed that a bit more than. I mean, Aspi did score a goal, by the way, but I just think his presence is really, really helping us create, and because they know he can score, they know he can cross. I think he creates a lot of instability in the defense. So yeah, I think that's my take on it right now. Yeah, it's a bit of a
Looking
weird
at the fixtures,
one.
so that like it is to be mentioned that the cup final is after the second game of the double game week 36. So if you're going in for Chelsea players, expect rotation in the second game of game week 36 against Leeds. So by the time they would have likely wrapped up the third place, and they had nothing to play for, which means like they would rest most of their players against the Leeds. So most Chelsea assets are not like nailed long term. Like assets, they'll be rested then and there. But Mount, Havertz, Alonso are all good picks in the run.
Maybe I think the last, like someone like Pulisic, if he remains fit, might be some kind of a pick.
Yeah,
When Chris
he,
is
he
giving
was
a
he was
very
he was really bad against Madrid. He was really bad. I think Pulisic is one of the players that have really declined this year compared to the previous seasons. He's just so far away from what he used to be. In terms of confidence and the explosiveness he once had. So yeah, I wouldn't go near there. I don't think he starts many games,
okay. I
regardless
think
of
we've covered a lot
fixture.
of Chelsea, right? We have to move
Yeah,
on.
we,
We've
we
at
have.
least
I think
we've
we've
touched
covered
the
it.
half an hour
Maybe
mark.
we can talk about attacking assets in very quick, because Mount and Howard seem to be quite clear attacking assets to go for. Uh, Werner, definitely, like what you said about Pulisic, like doesn't look like Tuchel is very fond of him starting. I mean, even last, I think in a game against Arsenal, he didn't even get a any minute, right? So even when they are chasing a game, I don't think he wants to bring him on. So definitely he's out of sorts. So I think those three can easily be assumed as the first choice front three, right? Werner, Mount, and Havertz.
Yeah.
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 And I think Mount will be on penalties if Jorginho doesn't play,
Jorginho
and
is not there.
I don't think Jorginho has started many games recently, so it might be. I mean, that might make Mount a little bit better asset than Havertz because of the set pieces and possibly on penalties in Jorginho's absence. So yeah,
So I think we're done with Chelsea, right?
yeah, yeah. We can
Let's
move ahead.
move on to the defending champs. That's Manchester City and Srini's team.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
these
that
are
actually.
their numbers over the last 4 weeks and their run of games, even though they have the Champions League games and all the other cup games, whatever they are in. So we are in for a treat of rotation over the last few games in this
But
season.
I mean, really looking at this fixture, I really wouldn't be surprised if they don't concede single goal from now to end of the season. I mean, Watford, Leeds, Newcastle, West Ham when they'll be playing probably in the final, Aston Villa and Wolves. I mean, really, I don't see them conceding many goals. I mean, maybe not at all. So, first thing, maybe it's not the first player everybody will go for, but going for Ederson for someone who is on a wild card might not be a bad shout because he's going to play all these games. I don't see anybody else playing all the games. Maybe one of the center backs and Cancelo because now I think Stones is injured. But I mean, I would really give Ederson a consideration if I was on a wild card.
Hmm.
I think it's not about shout at this point because the keepers. I looked before in the keepers and I really didn't like what I saw. I think if you're building a wild card right now, it's a bit of an ugly situation. If not Michael for the doubles, then I think he's a first shot, and he's the most nailed player. So I wouldn't be against it personally.
Yes, I think maybe what about Joao Cancelo? Because I think Walker is out right at the moment. And even Srini told me like few hours back that even Aki got subbed off. So
Yeah,
we
I
don't
think
know his status.
Stones was also stopped off. Stones, was he injured or I was not watching
Yeah.
the game?
He had some strain, but I think he's okay. He'll be back. That's what Pep was telling. But he is not sure on Arke yet. Arke maybe may not be. We don't know it. So yeah, I mean, even on Fleet, I was thinking on Arke also if he was fully fit, because he's first choice easily ahead of Zinchenko at the moment at 4.7. If you're getting a City defender, why not? Yeah.
So now with Aki not playing, it might be Zinchenko, right? Who will start as a fullback on the
Yeah,
left side.
if Walker doesn't recover, we don't have any updates on Walker yet. So if Walker recovers, he comes back. So
Pep will throw googly to us in the press conference, so we don't know.
Yeah, but
So
looking at that, really, if Walker and AK are injured, I mean, I mean, I have to maybe back on my statement. Like maybe then Cancelo and the likes of Laporte will get all the games. I mean, they have to play, right? If nobody is there, and I think Diaz will be back a little bit. With caution, he won't be playing like games after game. Maybe he'll play some cameos before starting the games. And depending on how fit Stones is, I mean, for Watford, we might even see Zinchenko playing. So yeah, 4.7 on a free hit. Yeah, you just made my thinking from 40% sure to 45% sure, because I have the option now of Zinchenko on the free hit.
Yeah, if we
I
get
think the
updates about
double of
Ake,
nice.
Zinchenko is 5.3. Okay, Shiva.
yeah, I was
So
telling about Ake. Ake is 4.7.
Ake is
Yeah.
4.7. I just had a quick look at Premier injuries, and according to them, Kyle Walker's potential return date is 30th of April. So we still need an update. This is based on the update last week, and Stones might be back most probably. So Ake and Stones are like this. We don't know. So we'll see what he says. But other than that, we know. I mean, it's going to be Cancelo or KDB.
Yeah,
I think
Cancelo
going to
is
be the
set and
two.
forget till the end of the season. If you're on free hit, wild card, free transfer, anything, because of he's ruled out for the first leg against Madrid due to the suspension, which also adds up to. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he's a set and
definitely.
forget.
That's what I did last week. I got rid of Doherty for Cancelo. I was like, I can't waste time.
And when
Yeah, yeah.
when
Captaincy
especially
option in game week 36 also. Sure, good
yeah,
captaincy option.
especially when Walker misses out and Cancelo plays on the right, I think his stock just goes a lot up. Like his ceiling is much higher when he plays on the right.
Yeah.
I think doubling up Cancelo and Laporte would be really popular amongst the wildcarders, actually.
Yeah, because even in the attack, it's like it's proper roulette. We don't know who's going to play. So
You have to
you
pick
can't start
one,
to pinpoint.
I think,
I think
I mean,
at
De
least.
Bruyne and Foden, I would think are pretty nailed. But
I
again,
think Foden for me. Foden. He's cheaper too.
yeah.
I
But
can't see.
De Bruyne, unless he's injured, with the importance of each and every game, I don't think Pep will even think about resting him. So only thing like
Yeah. He
yeah,
starts all the games surely, yeah. And might get subbed off at 50 if City go 2 up.
yeah,
So
and it's not just his creation. I mean, the kind of commitment he shows even in the defending, winning the balls. I think Pep cannot afford to rest a player like him. And it's like if City even draw one game, Liverpool are gonna win it, because Liverpool in their form, they don't look like dropping any points. Like they're really on playing on a different level right now. So definitely Pep will not think about rotation for sure.
yeah.
but
Okay.
rotation is one thing, but we are not able to predict who's going to play only.
So Jesus is shown here at the top. So I was just thinking. So let's say hypothetical talking about if I were free hitting on that right wing, you could really see any one of Jesus, Mahrez, or even Sterling play. So it's really on the free hit. So Srini, have you made up your mind on free hit which one you're going with, or do you
Yeah,
have?
I'm set on Sterling at the moment. Yeah. Sterling is logged. I had a few night of KDB. I have logged in with Sterling because of his record against smaller teams, how he performs against Watford. So but yeah, he didn't even play a single minute yesterday against Brighton.
Yes.
So that
So
also
why?
adds up to it.
So
He
why
can
do
play
you think?
anywhere.
So Mahrez played on the right. He got a goal and assist. He was pretty good. So why do you think like those will be benched for Sterling?
So Sterling can start even on the left. Grealish can play as a striker. You can expect a front three of Sterling, Grealish, and Mahrez. So the main thing of going with Sterling is it's not safe, but it's comparatively safe because he can play anywhere in the front three.
Yeah.
So with the schedule City are in right now, and I think he surely starts almost.
That almost is so painful, right? I think this happened once when most of us got Sterling and he got 1 point. When was this? Which this was one
Yeah,
free hit, right?
27 free hit, I guess. 20.
Yeah. So
So,
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
not I've not made any free hit draft, but probably I would go with a double defense and maybe like Foden, because if you are free hitting and 11.5 or whatever Sterling is worth, if that kind of a player gets benched, it's really painful. So
yeah. Yeah, and
But yeah,
another day he can come up with the. He's the one who can come up with the 15-point haul or something.
yeah, it's a
Like,
high risk, high reward. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
So I think City, I think we have kind of covered what is needed. I think we can definitely move on to the next segment. That is, I think it was, I think sort of when to get in Man City players is what we were actually looking to cover. So we'll just quickly add on that before we actually move on. When to get in is now. I think if you don't have Cancelo, just get Cancelo now. If you're going to free hit, get City players now. I think most probably it is game week 36, right, for a double at this point for Man City.
That's
yeah,
most probable right now. Yeah.
most probably.
Yeah, so the most probable we have to wait because if that is the case, then if I think holding on to a free hit will make sense, but we don't know, right? It's probable, so that's very difficult.
Yeah, but I mean, you say if you don't have Cancelo, get him now, which sounds good in general. But let's say you have a 7 million in your bank and you are doing a defender transfer this week. Would you go with Chelsea defender or Cancelo?
Hmm.
I'd go with Cancelo because the risk of just for the risk of rotation in the longer run. In the longer run, from game week, if I think from game week 34 to 38, Cancelo outscores the Chelsea defenders for me. Alonso or James, anyone for that matter.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, especially with Rudiger not playing. If Rudiger was playing, then I think it was a different question because then Rudiger definitely plays all the games, and then it probably would have been a better option. But yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, so let's quickly look at Chelsea's run of games here for the sake of comparison.
So these double game week, right? It really feels like a game to attack for the Chelsea attackers and not defenders because I think West Ham have a good record of scoring.
Or the Chelsea defenders who are attackers basically.
Yeah, but Rich James' positioning has really thrown a curveball into the all FPL managers' mind, right? I mean, he was a number one choice just like few weeks ago, and then Tuchel someday come up with some plan of playing get more minutes out of him and playing him in the center back. But yeah, it's good for Chelsea probably, but definitely not good for FPL. Fixtures wise, I think Aditya. I mean, you just scroll from Chelsea to City. It really is no comparison. I mean, as I said, City fixtures are just too good. There is no bad time to get City assets. If you have money, if you know the player, if you want him for long term, just go and get it. Don't worry about double game weeks.
Hmm. So I think so we are done with that. Let's move on to next. This is Srini's free hit draft. So we have come to the topic of if you have one free hit, do we use it now? And if so, who do we go for tentatively? Because we still have time before the deadline. Things could change. So Srini, over to
if,
you.
if if you have like what you told, if you have two free hits, I think it's best thing to play one in game week 34, the other one in 36 or 37, depending on your team and the city announcement. Because you can't play free hit on two successive weeks. So if you have two free hits, the no-brainer I think to play one right now or play one in 36 and the other one in 38 for the final game of the season, where we get more early injury news and updates as such. So, like, yeah, even with one free hit, what I feel like it's totally team dependent, and I have gone with free hit in game week 34 because of few reasons. Like, because my team is already well set up for game week 36 double. I have 10 double game week players already for game week 36, so I wouldn't require free hit there. Game week 37 free hit, I'm not entirely convinced because of the players involved in it, like Leicester, Everton. My three players to target in game week 37 are just Coutinho, Schmeichel, and someone else from Aston Villa or Palace. So just three players in it. So I can make it with the help of free transfers. So game week 37 free is also in a way ruled out for me if City don't double there. So at the moment, my team doesn't have any Chelsea players, no City players except Cancelo. So I think it's a good week, high risk week, but I think it can pay off to catch up the points. I'm at 14K at the moment. I think it can very well push me into the top 10K. So yeah, first I'll read out the draft quickly. It's Dubravka on goal. So Dubravka on goal, Cancelo, Alonso, Trent, Johnny, four at the back, Sterling, Havertz, Salah, Saka, Jota, five in midfield, and Werner as striker, and all the bench foders with 1 million in the bank. So this is what I'm looking at. Few varieties of what I'm thinking at the moment are I have the money. I can do Dubravka to De Gea. De Gea could be in for a lot of save points and bonus points if by chance United get a clean sheet.
No, no, that's not happening. I told, especially even in the last pod, United will not keep a clean sheet. Just Telles got an assist, and I was one point in the game against Norwich. I was like, oh shit, he got an assist. I was like, oh no, if he ends up keeping clean sheet, I am, because I was thinking either Doherty to Telles or Cancelo. But then that United bias did kick in for a bit, but I got in Bruno made a stupid decision in game week 32. But now I realize they are not going to keep clean sheet. You should be very clear. So I decided it's better to get Cancelo. The same happened. United have just switched off. They don't care. Today Tenag was announced as the next manager. We spoke roughly about this 2 week, 3 weeks back when we got some news on Twitter and all. And they just did a PR spin today completely. After that horrific result, what have they done? Complete social media, what you can say, change of all of a sudden it's positivity, right? That's what United do after every bad result.
Yeah, but I mean that Daya maybe, yeah. I mean, I agree that clean sheet is probably not worth it. But Johnny, if you have really money in bank, I would really try to upgrade maybe Johnny to someone else. Interestingly, you have not used your all three slots for Man City, so maybe it's worth looking at. Add third
Laporte,
Man City slot
much
in
like
there.
Laporte.
Yeah, Laporte, Ake, Ederson are three of them I'm looking at the moment and waiting for the press conference. Ederson could come in. I don't have the budget at the moment for Ederson. I have 1 million in the bank, which won't be sufficient. I need to cut down elsewhere. Maybe cut down Trent to Robertson and do the Dubravka to
Maybe Saka. I'm
Ederson.
looking at Saka. Although yes, I think Arsenal at home to United. I think Arsenal have a very good chance of beating United. No doubt about it. But
And Saka is now on penalties. I don't see Lacazette
hmm,
getting back into the game after
Lacazette
injury.
has fallen out. It seems that's what
Yeah.
some rumors
Is
and
it
all.
that thing with Arteta now? Like he keeps falling out with his top strikers. Now, nobody, no striker would like to go and get with Arsenal. Like he's probably getting going to get fall off with manager. But um, yeah, one good thing about this is like I again coming back to my situation where I am thinking about free hitting but not pull the trigger yet. Liverpool double attack is something very differential that you can do with the free hit this week. Obviously, Chelsea have a double game week, so you have to get triple Chelsea. But Salah Jota, obviously there is some probably there is some discussion needs to happen. Maybe Srini, you might need to think like whether is Jota is the first choice because Luis Diaz, Mane, and Salah seem to be the top first choice front three
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
and because Diaz was subbed off early in United game, I would think that he starts against Everton. So maybe if you were to think about replacing Jota with Diaz, that also is an option. So yeah, I mean
I,
Liverpool double attack is really tempting me. I think so. Dinesh is asking in the chat, Mount or Havertz. So you have gone for Havertz, Srini, and put an armband on him. So any thoughts on why Havertz and why not Mount?
it's just totally their stats are very similar. Perhaps Mount has better underlying not underlying numbers, better returns over the past few weeks compared to Havertz. But the reason when putting the armband on Havertz is he got his rest last week and Lukaku was terrible, so he starts both games as the false nine. So I'm just purely based on expected minutes. I think it will be close call between in terms of returns between Mount and Havertz. Both of them could get a few goals, or one might get 2 goals, other might blank. But I think it's very close. But purely based on expected minutes, I think Havertz is the move because Mount is due a rest for very long. I think Chris will agree with it because he has been playing. I think he has started every game since game week 22 or something. So
Yeah, I think he's
I
likely to get one
yeah
game, but I
rest.
don't know which one. But I think Havertz is the best option from the two. Although Mount has been really good in the past games, and he also takes it. He said, I just feel like Havertz has that higher ceiling. I think he's a player that can easily score 3 goals in this double game week,
Hmm.
out of nowhere. I think he's been brilliant and
It's
really
like
clinical.
Mount, who I mean, it's like Havertz. Sorry, will be kind of playing like in a false center forwardish role, right? So will be kind of
Yeah,
be in the box, waiting for those tap ins and all in those circumstances, and also he's quite improved, right, in terms of his performances in terms of scoring goals, and even this Timo Werner, right? Timo Postman Werner.
I think Timo is gonna help Havertz a lot because I think he's gonna do a lot of the work that Havertz sometimes has to do uh, further down the pitch. I think Timo will help with that a lot with these runs, and I think it was one of the first times I saw him have confidence while driving towards a player or trying to make some space. I think he's been really improving in that, and he's been uh, channeling his Leipzig version, whatever we're gonna call it. So I think that will help Havertz focus on the more striker role, let's say. So I think that's gonna benefit him a lot.
Yeah, because I think in Leipzig it was Poulsen who played alongside Werner, and Werner would always, make those runs behind because Poulsen would actually drop in and allow. It's typical their movement. And I think Havertz probably better. He started to pick up form and he looks much better. So I think we all agree that the answer is Havertz over Mount, right?
Yeah, just one to add one point here. So if because you are thinking of captaining one of those two, so probably Havertz, going with Havertz is probably the right call. But if I was not captaining one of them, then downgrading Havertz to Mount gets you like 1.5 million, I think, if I'm not wrong, or somewhere
No,
around
it's
there.
No,
point three.
point four, point four. Yeah, point three,
Oh,
point four.
yeah. So point four. So maybe if that makes a lot of change in your other plans, then probably it's worth going into. So as you said, Srini, maybe those will end up on very close points, like maybe similar number of points. So that way, if you are not captaining, going with Mount and Havertz should not be any problem in going with either. But for captaincy, yeah, I mean, I see expected minutes is,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
think
again, set pieces. I think it's 50-50 for me. I mean, if I were to go for a free hit, I would probably go both. So I'm maybe sitting on a fence with that one, but yeah, it's really difficult to choose.
I think if you downgrade Havertz to Mount, I think you'll fall point one short of doing Johnny to Laporte. I think so.
Yeah,
I think Laporte is 5.9, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
it's
The I don't have intentions of doing Havertz to Mount at the moment because of expected minutes. I'm thinking on Jota. Jota is not nailed. Saka is not nailed. Saka, I'm also he's good. He's on penalties, but I am thinking I'm still not sure on him. I'm thinking of Kulusevski. Slightly scared of no Spurs at the moment. But yeah, even though Brentford are good, it's the fear of missing out. Kulusevski is also crossing my mind. I don't know. I think I may even go for Robertson, downgrading one of them to Dell for someone else and get Robertson at the back. So there are quite a few plans. This is the draft at the moment. Yeah.
so free hit done, right? We'll move on to the last or second last part. That is, I think, wildcard. So there are a couple of managers who will also look to wildcard. So these are probably the remaining fixtures in short until the end of the season. So just a quick glance before we go on to wildcard. So this is actually Chris had sat and he made a sort of his kind of ideal draft for the remainder of the season for the next few weeks. So what was the thinking behind this, Chris?
By the way, this is a non-bench boost team because I think many have played it already, and I think right now if you have a bench boost, it's really difficult to make a wild card because I think there's a shortage in many positions to find a nice way to balance the squad. But yeah, my team value is not that great compared to others, I think. But I think I really wanted to include many big teams as possible in the team, and I think I managed to do that. I think City and Liverpool are the key sides here. I didn't go triple Liverpool because I feel like double defense is. I think I'd rather go with City, and I think it would be better for me to include maybe Jota instead of Havertz at some point if I would like to, maybe something like that. I think I like the midfielders right now. Coutinho has really nice fixtures. I don't know. I feel like the strikers are a weird point because it's Kane and then it's pretty much chaos. I don't know. Weghorst has some nice pictures, but again, hasn't been the best. He scored once in this game week, but yeah, if I'm gonna read out the lineup, it's Michael, who I think is the best keeper right now in terms of value and the minutes he's gonna play, obviously, and then a keeper, 3.9 keeper to allow you to have all your funds focused on the starting XI. Then I think my best pick for the Chelsea defense, Alonso. I can't see him getting dropped, like as in dropped out of favor. He might get rested the odd game, but again, I think he's the best pick. Most attacking. Then it's obvious Arnold and the double up. I think these two are pretty safe. I think we're gonna get lots of points in the run in. And then I put Guehi because I feel like I need. I always like to have some bench cover. And Palace have some nice games. So that's my thinking there. Foden, I think he's also one of the most nailed attackers in Man City, and I don't think you can go without one attacker, even if they get the odd benching or the sub 30 minutes, whatever. I think Pep is gonna play his strongest team as much as possible, actually. So yeah, I don't think he can risk losing any points or underestimating any situation because City need to win until the end right now. And again, Havertz, as we mentioned before, I think he's the best pick in the attackers. For the wild card, I wouldn't be against Mount if you want to save some cash, maybe. Dewsbury Hall, I think he's a really nice enabler. You can play him or you can bench him easily. I think he's been getting to some really good positions lately, and his value is amazing. And now a player who I don't know, he's a bit controversial, but I think Mane, I think he's been doing great lately. I think he's been really different from what he was at the start of the season and last season. I think if you saw the game, guys, his pass to Salah, you have to remember that. It was such a mind blowing.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, it was a really nice goal, by the way. Yeah, it was. I think he has really turned up after the Copa Africa and stuff. I think he's really turned up, and it's for obviously for if you have the cash to go Salah, you might as well do it. It's a safe choice. But I think I wouldn't mind gambling on Mane if you want, chase some grounds. I think the penalties are not really a factor that much anymore. And the price tag, if you don't have Salah, the price tag is almost 1.5 million difference. So I think there's a case to be made right now. And I wouldn't be against Jota or Diaz, which are less nailed, but they've been really explosive. But yeah, I think Mane is my pick for now, instead of Salah. And
When Chris, you spoke about Mane, I saw Srini nodding because Srini realized, oh shit, the differential is going to get leaked, I think. So
yeah, I mean, it was my thinking. Like, I think the game against United might have swayed me to this decision actually because I was really impressed. And then obviously Kane, I still think his form is the best in the league, if not second, maybe alongside some of the Liverpool guys because they've been really good too. Then, well, Dublin. We don't have a cheap striker this year, which is a bit annoying actually. 4.3 or something. But yeah, I think Weghorst. I just think there's no other strikers right now
Okay,
at that
why not
price
Pookie ahead
tag.
of Weghorst?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
I
Weghorst.
think I would put Pookie ahead of
Pookie.
Weghorst.
It,
Yeah.
it was actually a dilemma for me, and I think Burnley's motivation and fixtures made me put Weghorst. Just that, but I think Pookie's been going really under the radar lately because Norwich are playing stress free, nothing to play for. But I think that in a way makes them, better. That sounds so strange, but I think that's the case. Yeah, I think Pookie or Weghorst would be the final piece of the puzzle.
I
By
mean,
no means this is not perfect, by the way.
you say that there are no good strikers. So have you thought about going something like Vegas to maybe 4.5, some again bench fodder, and if
Uh,
that gives you 2 million, you can
yeah,
actually bump Guehi to even Reece James. And I think if you just play Reece James in all the weeks ahead of Vegas, he's definitely going to score more points. Yeah, he will miss out on some games, but I mean, Vegos, yeah, he scored in last game. I am holding him, but it's just like Burnley are not looking like that team, which when fighting for the relegation, they were looking really good. He might still get a goal or two here and there, but at 6.4, if you have a chance to get 2 millions from that position and play any Chelsea premium or even Man City premium defender in place of that, I would definitely consider that. That's
Yeah, I think that's
You
a
know,
nice
you could
case.
also do, I think, Vegos to Pookie and then bump Dewsbury all to Ilanga. I think how much is Ilanga? Ilanga is 4.8, right?
4.8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dewsbury Hall, I mean, I really like that pick. I mean, I won't even be, if you have a plan of playing Dewsbury Hall as your 11th player in the starting 11, I'm even up for it. He has been looking really good. He looks nailed, and he's not a defensive midfielder. I mean, he is really involved in their attacking play. And at 4.4, if you play him on each week, his points might be unpredictable. So probably you can't predict it whether he'll get your points in double game week or any other week. But I would say if I won a wild card, he would definitely on my team. Maybe as a fifth midfielder or even fourth, but he would definitely be in there. Ilanga, I think he's a good choice, but again, United, right?
That's the
I
bias
think yeah,
speaking, so can't
yeah,
help.
No, no.
yeah. I think Dewsbury and Gordon are better picks on wildcard for the bench slot. One thing
Hmm.
what I would do is ahead of Coutinho, I think I would go for Mount and then get back Coutinho around game week 36 or 37.
Yeah, it makes sense. I
Fair enough.
mean, he has Leicester and Norwich, which are good games, I think.
Do you have free hit left, Chris? And are you going to free hit in
No,
36?
I'm chipless. I played my bench boost this game week for a total of 6 points, maybe.
I
Or,
mean, if you are
was
not free
terrible.
hitting in 36 or 37, then probably Coutinho is probably a good
Yeah,
call.
that's why I said I think
Mm.
on a wild card, if you were chipless, you might just pick him for all the game weeks remaining.
So if you don't have KDB, get KDH. So that's the answer.
Yeah,
You might not get the same points, but you'll be happy with the acronym.
he
So
might be better value.
Yeah,
You know,
KDH covers two-third of KDB. I think I'm gonna tweet that.
I think that was a really popular tweet from Penny Blanco.
Yeah,
I'm not
Ings,
aware. So
Mings, and stuff. He got like
yeah,
100k likes or something.
yeah.
okay, so
So
I think
he's got
kind
quite.
of we spoke about wildcard drafts a bit here and there, and I think there's a proper article up on All About FPL. So if you want to read through with all the scenarios, you do that because discussing drafts gets a bit confusing and boring, and it gets very repetitive. So just read the blog because that has things covered up in depth. And I think the last thing is definitely the captaincy picks. And I think it's on Havertz for most of the managers, and even what we saw in terms of Srini's free hit. So these are the fixtures for double game week 34, and straight away Arsenal United. I'm not sure. I think Arsenal might win. Leicester Villa is a good game. I think Villa definitely need to get those points, but I don't know Leicester. I think they're going to focus on the what is it Conference League. City Watford is I think what is going to happen? We'll have to see. Norwich Newcastle is like Newcastle are on a what do you say? On they're just climbing so fast, right? 40 points cross. All of a sudden, they went from bottom to top, and it's like Norwich are just going to go and destroy the party. And obviously, they're playing at home, so I think it was Chris or Shiva. One of you guys said that Norwich generally play well at home, so we'll see what happens there. Brentford Spurs is a tough game. Brighton Southampton is beach teams playing against each other. So
It
uh,
might be 5-4 or maybe 0-0.
yeah, so we'll see. Burnley Wolves is like Ben
Zero
Me. I
zero.
don't know what he's going to do. Old Wolves just keep clean sheets. Chelsea West Ham is I think it's a London derby. Let's see what happens. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think
Again,
Chelsea West Ham is going to decide double game week quite a lot because West Ham have got I think a week's rest. They haven't got in a while, and Chelsea have not had a rest. They really look tired in the game against Arsenal, and again this game comes within 4 days I think. So I mean, realistically speaking, the way Chelsea have been playing and the games, I think West Ham would score in that game. I would say. Um, So I mean, even if like it's double game week, I think that fixture is not easy for Chelsea.
But West Ham have a game in 3 days' time again the Europa game they have. So
Hmm.
that might be into consideration.
Yeah, I mean Thursday, right? They have a game on Thursday, so
Yeah,
yeah, might be, but yeah, you never know.
Who do West Ham play? I think it was Frankfurt, was it?
Frankfurt,
Yeah,
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, yeah.
That's uh, that's going to be a good game. I think West Ham will look at Europa League more, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Liverpool Everton is. I think Liverpool should. Uh, I think win. That's very easy to say. But let's see what happens. Everton will not defend like United. They'll have at least something to play for, other than these guys there. Palace leads open game. Who wants points? Is that game?
I don't know. Leads are not really open these days. I mean, it's funny that it's almost to the point where I used to look forward to Leeds games, and now I don't. It's funny that when the team concedes goal for fun, we say what a awful defending it is, and we ask talk all of the season like, okay, they are so open at the back, but soon they change their game. I think they are just another team from the Premier League. Like you may watch, you may not watch, but I mean, at least that's with me. I don't know whether you guys share the same thoughts. So
Yeah.
I mean, that is typical managerial bounce, right?
yeah, I mean, results wise, yes, but even in the way they are playing, they always are thinking about how to defend, what is the style of other teams, how to make sure the we don't concede so many chances, and that was never the case with the Leeds, what we know from last couple of years, right? So the fun part, the end-to-end game part in that game has gone now. I don't know whether it will back next season. It's just that relegation battle is making them play this way, but
Hmm.
that's definitely something to look. But Crystal Palace, I think they had a poor result on the weekend, and I think Vieira would definitely be up for this game. He would definitely want to make sure that uh, fans should not feel the team is already on the beach. I think the game against Chelsea in the cup, I think many were expecting that to be a little tougher game. So they were disappointing in that game as well, and I expect them to be on it for this game.
Yeah, and Palace also lost to Newcastle,
Yeah.
courtesy of Almiron's goal, and it was the wrong. I think most of us picked the wrong Bruno, right? We have to admit we got the wrong
Yeah,
Bruno.
yeah. I'm going to write to FPL because actually I selected the right Bruno, but I don't know how I ended up having Bruno Fernandes.
It's the United bias. You can tell them.
But yeah, 20 pointer, right? I mean, these are kind of the moves. Whoever got them, I know like as from the black box he captained him. I mean, that kind of call is like 40-point swing. It's like talking about overall rank of 12K versus 4K. It's like that kind of a situation. So
I think
Yeah,
Bruno
it's
Guimaraes was mentioned in last week's differential, if I am correct. Because I remember I was making the graphic and I couldn't believe a
Yeah.
4.9 million player got around 20 points. But he's not a typical CDM. He's a more of
yeah,
a box
he's
to
not.
box who makes those late runs. So that's why he got those points because he was at the right place to score those goals. I mean, we can't help. Very surprising, but I mean, I Bruno Fernandes last game that's of this gaming 34 United play Chelsea and if Rafael Varane is hopefully back, then only I think we can expect at least to ship less goals. I would say rather than even clean sheet at this point. Otherwise, Werner might just run past the defense because of our defensive capabilities. How bad we are.
Yeah,
So I
looking at the
think
fixtures, who do you think is a good goalkeeper on free hit for me? Other than the City and Liverpool ones, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea ones.
I think
Good
Dubravka
keeper
is
on free
tricky,
hit.
by the way. I think Norwich might score that one.
hmm.
Yeah, I think
It's
I have
Norwich always are like party. What you can say? They destroy your party.
party
So
spoilers. Yeah,
uh,
I
I
I would
also think.
I would
Go on,
consider
yeah.
Pope if the budget is not a problem because I think they are going to defend for their lives and Wolves. They don't really have anything to play for. They looked really bad. They don't have Neves now, and their attackers are not gelling really well. I don't think, or at least there is a good chance of Burnley clean sheet there. And we all know like if Burnley clean sheet, then how many points Pope ends up with. So if you have the
Good shout.
budget, yeah, I think Pope is someone.
Yeah, I'm
If
already
you
with on Johnny. Put Pope and hope for a 0-0 success.
yeah, oh, that will be a great free hit picks if that happens.
So
You
captaincy, I
boring
know
guy.
we are all on Havertz, but those who don't have any Chelsea attackers, I mean, mine is at the moment default on Bruno Fernandes.
Or Salah, maybe.
I don't have Salah, so
Yeah. You're. I mean, I wouldn't captain a United player. Actually, you know what? The Arsenal game, they could do something. Arsenal are not good defensively. So I think I wouldn't be against.
you know the thing is that if Ronaldo
Against it.
plays right,
Yeah.
then I think Ronaldo. I think historically or something, Ronaldo always performs against Arsenal. He has something
Arsenal.
against
Yeah.
them. Like that's his favorite team to play and trouble. So
But yeah, I won't
if he,
captain a United player surely this game week. Yeah,
so that's why I'm going to start to look at alternatives. Okay, if not Fernandez,
yeah.
then who? Because I'm
Cancelo,
mostly
You go
Cancelo
for a
is a
looking.
good
safe
shout.
player. Cancel, yeah. I
Cancelo,
agree.
Trent,
I
Salah are
think
all good
Cancelo should
shouts.
be on top of the list. Actually,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
I
that
wouldn't
type of
surprise if he
team where
plays that.
Cancelo love to play. He loves teams who sit back and he gets on the like he mostly drifts around as a number 10 if he starts as in the left back against those teams who sit in the back totally like Burnley or Watford. This is where he comes into play rather than teams like Brighton or Southampton who play some football. Like he's not good on counters, but he loves to play against teams who sit back and he would take up the role of number 10. So this would be the ideal game for Cancelo.
So we all can agree one will be Chelsea attackers, so Havertz. Two will be Man City players, so maybe Cancelo, KDB, Sterling, and then I
Yeah.
think the third place is up for grabs. I don't think people. I mean, Mo Salah, those who have, I think is just straight by default. We are going to have a lot of teams just having Salah captaincy,
Yeah.
so that is only going to be a pain. So probably to save our game week, I
Yeah,
think.
Mount also definitely will be in there, like
Yeah.
Chelsea. So I mean, if I do end up hitting free hit, and if I have both Havertz and Mount, I'm I might think of even going with Mount just because of the many ways of getting points. So he definitely is.
Yeah, I think if he gets the minutes, I think he's a player who can get points from whatever, because he takes the corners. We have good record on corners too, so I think that's the expected assist appeal of Mount, which is really high.
I think so. We've covered
Trent,
everything,
Trent,
right?
Trent is a good
Sort
shout.
of.
Yeah, Trent is also a good shout for captaincy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So Chelsea players, Liverpool, City are probably just pick any one of them. You're going to get points, more or less.
And then you
And
pick
those
United,
who
and you get 4 points.
uh,
and watch out for the captaincy metrics on the website.
that is going to be again Salah. I'm telling you now only. I leaked it now only,
Yeah,
more or less. It's going to be. What can we do? If one guy keeps on scoring so many goals,
It's
you're not going
inevitable.
to go.
I
I
think so.
mean,
But double game week. So maybe the metrics. I think will be close and within Salah and Mount on the metrics.
we'll see. We'll see.
Makes
I
sense.
mean,
Makes
I'm
sense.
really. I might even do Fernandez to Salah just for the sake of having peace.
Exactly. Sake of because if you don't have him, you're not going to have a good weekend mentally. That's for sure. Football, like if you and
He'll score a goal and he'll do, and then you will feel like
but
why I
you know
didn't do it.
the problem is okay. I can get Salah for Fernandez and be good about it. But for captaincy, I would definitely try to get a Chelsea captain. And then if I'm having Salah as 100% owned, and I know his effective ownership will be around 150 for this game week, then essentially we are not completely covered either. So I'm just thinking now I'm already, destroyed by him. Maybe it's one more week. Let's just see.
And he shouldn't
Just
score a brace again because if he scores a brace again, all the dead teams might have captained him. We are gone. That's what is
go with
happening.
the wind.
It's gone, blown away.
Yeah, I mean, you need to take some gambles, and it is what it is
Yeah,
after all.
yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, sometimes taking gambles backfires, but also you need to do some sort of your what you can say control right of your loss at this point. I mean, it's
Damage
getting
control.
so damage control.
Yeah,
What do we do? Right, I was 30K a few weeks back. I'm going to 90K straight away because of removing. I mean, Salah just nearly destroyed me this week. My rank just went from 60K to 90K straight this week only because of not having Mo Salah. So it's so tight, especially under the 100K mark where everybody's teams are so similar, and one bit of change you do here and there, and it goes against you, you're gone.
Yeah,
It's
20
not.
point that difference is like such a huge. So I like same with me. Like I was 3K a few game weeks back, then I dropped to 7K, and now I'm 16K. So it's like four times have dropped down. And let's see. But Salah again feels me like okay, already I'm on that downward stretch. If I get Salah in and don't captain him, still I'm going to not make up for those points. So that's why a part of me is thinking maybe I'll stick with Bruno and
and see what happens.
yeah, just a mad hope that he outscores Salah with one game. And just one more hope that I have is like Liverpool have a Champions League game coming up. I know that there's still 4 or 5 days, so maybe Salah might get reduced minutes. So like if Liverpool are say up 2-0 at the 60th minute, Klopp might give him a rest. So
But
just
Salah
a
would
thought.
have got 2 goals by then. You never know. So yeah.
I mean yeah, at this point 2 goals is okay.
Yeah,
We're
join the
begging
free
him to
hit
stop.
and have a peaceful weekend, Shiva.
Yeah, it depends on my transfer. So I'm just thinking, okay, whether to make myself more miserable or
It all kind of it all again, last conclusion hinges on Man City, right? And if their fixture falls in 36, I mean that we won't know now. So those who end up saving free hit can go, but again, pep roulette starts.
but it's supposed to be out before the deadline. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of people who I mean who know their stuff like Planet FPL, James or Ben Krill. They are saying that maybe today or maybe tomorrow. So definitely before the deadline, it's going to be confirmed which where Man City are playing. And if we really have to go by the press conference leaks, Pep mentioned the Wolves game in there. So I think I'm 90% sure that it's a double game week 36 for Man City. Obviously, you wouldn't commit to it unless it's official, but I think that's what is going to happen.
Okay, so I think in short, to wind up, we covered up everything for free hit, captaincy, wild card, and all players to pick from Chelsea, City, and all. So what I think all of us should do is check how many players we have for Game Week 36 in terms of doubles, and if we have a reasonable amount that we can work with in terms of transfers over the next one game week or so, maybe take a hit and maybe get two players, then I think maybe free hitting 34 might be what as Srini said, might give us a bit more peace having Salah and having Chelsea guys. So let's hope that we get that news before the deadline, and hopefully we can just get the best out of this game week and just look ahead. So I think that kind of wraps up this sort of live stream or episode. I think we finished up everything, and next week we'll see. We mostly will be back recording an episode, if not a stream. So we'll keep everybody updated on our Twitter or Insta, whatever social platforms you guys follow us on. So, any closing comments from you guys before we end up the stream?
Go easy, Salah.
Yeah. I mean, if for anyone celebrating Easter this weekend, we'll have a happy holidays and stuff. Don't get too crazy about fantasy Premier League. There's more important things in life. But yeah, and don't captain United players for your mental health. That's my
Good.
advice to you guys specifically, Aditya and
Talk
Shiva.
to you after United beat Chelsea, Chris, next week.
I mean, it's possible because we are a charity team. We try to boost your guys' moral. We
No,
did
I said
Arsenal
no.
last.
United are Robin Hood. We take points from the top teams and we give it to the bottom guys. We have been doing that. We will do
Yeah,
it.
I think Chelsea have the team that allows this to happen so often. Teams who struggle just go to Chelsea and they just get points for no reason. We gifted Arsenal so many goals just for no reason.
So
So, yeah.
Chelsea. So Chris is praying for Chelsea wins in the W. We are playing. Me and Shiva, both of us are praying for United. Let's see what happens. And Srini will enjoy
I'm
his
praying
free
for
hit draft.
a non-pep roulette. I want. Yeah, I'm praying for go easy pep on me.
Go easy, Pep. Hashtag
Go
yes.
easy Pep, go easy Salah, go win Chelsea. That are the three closing remarks. And that's it. So we're done for this and we'll see you all next
Yeah.
week. So bye.
Thanks, guys. It's
Bye,
fun
guys.
chatting with you guys. Yeah. Bye bye.